All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Deebo ended up having a rib contusion. He should be day-to-day. Kalia Davis has a high ankle sprain, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. Juwan Jennings in the concussion protocol. Cleve Farrell has had an ankle also. He's day-to-day. Players who missed the game, expecting to get Burford back this week for practice. Armstead, Dwelly, Hargrave, Mitchell, and Burks are kind of all in the same boat to where we just got to see how it goes this week with them. So we'll get an idea of that when we start practicing. Go ahead, guys.
Hey, Kyle, I had a question on Deebo's first touchdown on the opening drive. Was that a play that you waited until Friday to put in the red zone package? And when you're formulating these game plans, how often do they change during the week?
We always install our red zone on Friday, so we always do that with that stuff. I mean, we do it as a coaching staff on Thursday night, and then we teach it to the players Friday morning. Then we go out and practice it for Friday's practice. You try to put in a lot of stuff on Wednesdays, just the base game plan, and then you do the third downs and short yardages on Thursdays, and then you do red zone on Friday. And so you kind of have everything put in over 3 days, and there's times where something will come up or we'll see something different on a Saturday, which is very rare, but sometimes it does, where we'll have to tweak some things. But usually the changes come in the games when we see some things we weren't anticipating.
Now that you've had a chance to look at the film, what did you think about what issues there were with the run defense, and how much did the missing Armstead and Javon hurt?
I definitely think it hurt. I think all the factors went into it. One, having those guys out. Two, the amount of plays they got, especially there in the first half. Losing Kalia during the game, which really got those guys tired out towards the end. Especially when they stayed on the field on a couple third downs, especially those last couple drives. I thought the biggest thing was the missed tackles. They bounced off a couple, and then mainly just our tracking angles on a number of plays. Just running to the ball. We over pursued a couple things and opened up the cutback, which gave them some big ones. It's usually when you give up that yard, you're expecting a lot of schematic busts and stuff, especially with a running quarterback. So I thought that didn't hurt us as bad as you'd expect. But we got to clean up all those tackles and got to try to get our depth back too.
Is there any residual effect of the stinger on Brock Purdy today?
Not that I heard. He felt good last night, and they didn't give me any information today that they're concerned about. So I'm assuming it's your typical stinger, and the fact that he was able to get through the game was a pretty good sign.
Were the players off today and tomorrow?
No, tomorrow we'll treat as a Monday. So tomorrow will be our true day after a game procedure. Today, guys just came in with the injury stuff, so the doctors could see them, and they're on their own today.
Kyle, I know that you have a lot of injuries at defensive tackle, and I know that you guys looked at Ndamukong Suh last year. Any discussion about him this year?
Not yet. I'm not ruling out anything. We have guys on our practice squad, as you guys see, that we used last week. But that stuff, we also aren't exactly sure when Hargrave and Armstead are coming back. We do know they have chances this week, so there's a lot of variables that are playing together that we'll be discussing here the rest of the day tomorrow. And even if we don't make a move in any area, that'll probably be continuing throughout the year.
Kyle, the play where Deebo get easy going out to the side and end up getting a touchdown, is that something new that you've put into the playbook, or is it something that you've thought about for a while?
What? I missed the first part of that. What was that?
The play where Deebo said he kind of needed to kind of fake like he was a little bit lazy on the play, and it ended up being a touchdown for him.
Yeah, it was just some things we saw on tape, and just trying to make things tie together, and we thought some things that showed on tape could maybe play out that way, and we got the right look, and it played out well.
Kyle, you mentioned that Brock Purdy has excellent field vision. Is that a God-given trait or something quarterbacks can develop?
I think it's a God-given trait that develops, but I mean, I think you're on a certain spectrum, and the more times you get put in those situations, the more reps you can get. Your preparation to what anticipate in those situations, everything can make that a talent that you were kind of born with that you can extremely excel in, or that you don't really develop in. But I don't think if you don't have it, it's not something that you can just develop. You have to have a certain amount of that, and some are higher than others, and some, I think, can make it better the more football they play and the more situations they get in. But you definitely have to have a certain amount to be able to see the field like that.
Kyle, as you look back on this sort of self-sustaining culture you guys have put together since you and John arrived, you look back at it, how big were the pulls of Kittle in 17 and Warner in 18 out of the draft to that?
Huge. I mean, our goal, what we have here is 1,000% based off of just the people that are in this building, and we were presented a very good opportunity by the Yorks to be able to make those decisions and try to get the right people in here to build a culture. And our culture is 100% off the people in this building. And you go back to our early years, and some of those big draft picks our first year, especially being George that first year, Fred the second year. I want to say we got Deebo in here the third year. But even guys like Ross Dwelly, guys like, bringing in Juice, Dre Greenlaw. I mean, there's so many guys who have been the type of character that we look for. And when you do hit on those guys and you get those guys here, it's really cool for younger guys to come in and see kind of how things are done. And you don't have to talk as much as we used to when we got here, because they watch guys like that do it the right way, and they try to emulate them because they know how successful they've been on the field.
When you were watching Christian McCaffrey backpedal for it seemed like 10 yards, what were your emotions watching that play?
I was so stressed because we knew we had the look, and it was something we knew would take a long time to develop, but we felt if we could hold on, it would be there. And then we knew Christian got to the spot, but we didn't think we were going to be able to hold on. And then Brock did a hell of a job buying some time so he could get away from the internal pressure. And then right when he threw it, I was like, all right, perfect. We pulled it off, but you could tell Christian didn't pick up the ball right away. And so the whole time it was in the air, it just looked like he was going to stumble or was going to go over him. But then when he caught it, we knew we were all right because we knew he was alone, and it was a cool deal, and I was pumped they were able to pull it off.
Well, you guys have you've only faced the Ravens once as being the Niners coach. Are you kind of expecting though the same style of a run-oriented offense, a really talented quarterback, and a fierce pass rush?
Yes. I mean, just the way they run their organization with John and, the group of coaches they have there, the style that they play to, you always know what you're going to get from their team. We haven't played them in a little bit, but I know that hasn't changed. You always see them on tape. You always see their numbers, and they still have the same quarterback who will always be as big of an issue as there is. So, you know what? And I know it's a number of years later, and there's a bunch of different guys out there, but the style is going to be, to me, extremely similar.
Kyle, how has Lamar Jackson developed as a passer?
I haven't studied him yet. We just finished this stuff, and when I'm done with you guys, I get going on that. But so I can't say exactly, but when I just watch him on crossover tape and stuff like that, I mean, everyone knows how elite of a runner he is. But the way he can throw, he's always been such a good thrower. But what I see is, I think he sees the field well. He's got a good way of finding the holes in the defense, whether he's scrambling it off schedule or it's in the pocket and rhythm. He just got to decide whether he wants to kill you with his arm or his legs, and both of them are a very good option for him. That's why he is such a challenge.